Hello and welcome to Kalinga Online Maths. I'm your math tutor Kalinga Daniel. In this tutorial video, we are going to look at some questions on the topic the travel graphs. This is a topic which comes in paper 1 every year, and usually it is the last question. And you know that in paper 1 there are 23 questions, so it is usually question number 23. So let's look at some questions on the same topic, and I'll start with the question coming from the year 2017 internal question number 23. And the question reads, the diagram below shows a speed time graph of a car journey. The first part of the question A reads, find the acceleration during the first 5 seconds. B, if the total distance traveled was 825 meters, find the value of t. Then C, find the average speed for the whole journey. So now if you look at this question, so the first part is 3 marks, 1 mark, and the last one is 2 marks. So if you add there, you have 6 marks altogether. So I would advise you to make sure that you secure the 6 marks, and you know paper 1, the total marks for paper 1 is 80 marks, and you have to try by all means to secure a lot of marks as you can. So let's see how we're going to answer this particular question. So one thing that you have to know is you can still use the same formula for those of you who are taking science, okay? So the same formulas that you know for the travel graphs in physics, you can still apply them to find the acceleration, the distance, and also the average speed. Okay, so here we are going to start with the first part where we are going to find the acceleration, okay, during the first 5 seconds. So I'll show you how this one is done. So here we are only looking at this region here. So from 0 to 5, from rest to 5 seconds. Okay, so here it means that my final velocity will be this 30, and my initial velocity will be 0. And you know the formula that we are supposed to use to find the acceleration. So to find the acceleration, we are going to use this formula. Okay, I will simply write down the same formula that you use in physics. Okay, so final velocity minus initial velocity over time taken. Okay, so our time will be 5. Let me just write here. So our time will be 5 seconds. Okay, and then our final velocity is going to be this 30 here. Okay, that's our final velocity. And how about our initial velocity from rest there? So it will just be 0. Okay, so that will be 0 meter per second. Is that okay? So that will be our initial velocity. Okay, so after getting everything, we are now going to use our formula. We substitute so that we can find the acceleration. It's very easy. Okay, so this is the first part of the question. So where there's v, I'll write 5. So I said my final velocity is actually 30, not 5. Okay, so there's an error there, so let me just correct it. So there my final velocity is 30. Okay, so 30 meter per second. All right, so now we can look at our formula. So we are going to write 30 minus 0 over the value of t is what? 5, which is the time. So 30 minus 0, it will be 30 over 5. and we can divide there. 5 can go into 30 how many times? 6. So it will just be 6 meter per second what squared. This is our acceleration. You have seen? So this is how you get your 3 marks. Okay, so we have managed to get the acceleration for the first 5 seconds. So now I want us to proceed. We look at B. So question B says, if the total distance traveled was 825 meters, find the value of t. So now one thing you should know is that if you are finding the distance covered by an object on the graph, you use the same formulas for finding the area. Okay, for example, we know that this is a triangle here. I'm looking at this region from 0 to 5 seconds. This is a triangle. So you know the formula for finding the area of a triangle is half times b times h. So it will be the same formula for us to use when we want to find the distance. We use the same formula. Okay, so that's what I was saying. If you are finding the distance under the graph, you use the same formulas for finding the area. So the formula for finding the rectangle, the formula for finding a triangle, the area of a triangle, the formula for finding the trapezium will be used to find the distance. The same formulas. Okay, so I will show you step by step how you can use them. Okay, all right, so let me just clear some space here so that we can look at the question B, how it will be done. Okay, so question B, we want to find the value of t. So allow me to just divide these shapes into regions. Let's say this is the area 1 or distance 1, distance 2, and distance 3, so that we can add them, and then the answer should be 825 because you have been given the total distance for the whole journey, right? They are saying the total distance traveled was 825. So we know that if I find the distance for area 1, area 2, and area 3, it should give me what? 825 because we have been given the total distance. So this will make our work very easy. So allow me to just use those numbers. So I'll say D1, it is for this one, D2, this region, D3, it will be the region represented by 3. Then we can add the distances to find the total. Is that okay? So I'll start with D1. So D1 is you look at the shape. This shape is a triangle, so it will be half BH. You know how to get the distance for the triangle. It is half BH. So we are going to now substitute. What is our B? Our B is this one, the base. So from 0 to 5, it's 5. So our base is 5 and our height is 30. So this is our height. So our height there, it will be 30. Okay. So you write 30 there. All right. So now we can divide. You know that 2 can go into 30 there. So 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 30, it's 6. Okay. And then 2 into actually 30 is 15. I was too fast. So now here it will be, like I said, 2 into there, it's 1, remainder 1. And this one, so into 30 is 15. You have seen? So now we are going to multiply 5 times 15. So it will be 5 times 15 like this. Okay, so that you can find the distance for area 1. Okay, so 5 times 5, it will be 25. You carry 2. 5 times 1, it will be 5 plus 2, 75. So 5 times 15, it's 75. Now since so the units are what in meters, so we can write 75 what meters. This is not the total distance. This is just the distance for this region represented by 1. So now I'll move on to D2. Now how about D2? D2 is a, what kind of a shape do we have? So this is a rectangle. You have seen this region is a rectangle. So how do you find the area of a rectangle? So you simply multiply L times B. You remember this formula? L times what? Times B. So what is our L? So our L here, it will be from 5 here up to 15. So you have to subtract to find the length here. You have seen? So I need to subtract 15 minus 5. So the length will just be 10. You have seen? Yeah, so it will be 10 times the breadth, which is 30, this one here. So it will be 10 times 30. What is 10 times 30? The answer is what? 300 meters. This is just for D2. You have seen? Now we have to find D3, which is the last shape there. So I'll write D3 equals to, what is the shape here? It is a triangle. You have seen? This is a triangle, so we know the area for a triangle is half BH. Is that okay? So this is the formula that we are going to use. So now we need to do the substitution there. So I'll do half times what is B? Our B here, we don't know what it is since the value of t is not given. So I'll let this be, let us pick x. I want x to represent this length here. Okay, what we don't know, since I don't know the value of t, I can subtract t minus 15, but I don't want to use that approach. For me, I want us to use x. Okay, let us just use x to represent this length so that we can find the value of x. When we get this value of x, to find the value of t, we are going to add now the value of x that we are going to find plus this 15 to get the value of t. I will show you how that one will be done. So for now, my base is going to be x. So I'll write x there. So half times x, okay, then times what? Our h. Our h is what? Our h is the height, which is 30. So let me just write this one again. I know you may not have seen because of the, okay. So we are saying for D3, let me write D3 here. So D3, we have half BH, and we are saying to find D3, we are going to multiply. So we are getting x in to represent the base, okay, and then the height is what? 30. Is that okay? Yeah, so we can divide this 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 30, it goes there how many times? It goes there 15 times. So it will be x times 15. The answer is going to be, it will just be 15x, okay, 15x meters. So this is our D3. You have seen? So this is how you get the distances. All right, so now after we have obtained all this, after getting all this, we are now going to do this. We have to add all the distances that we have found. Is that okay? And then we equate everything to 825, because 825 represents the total distance. So to find the total distance, we are going to equate everything. So I'll say total distance will be equals to D1 plus D2 plus D3. This is how it will be. Okay, but then what we know is that we have been given the total distance. The total distance is 825. It's here. You have seen the total distance is what? 825. So we can get that one. Okay, so I'll write 825 on my left hand side. So I'll write 825 here. Okay, then equals to the distance for D1. What was it? So D1, it was this one here, 75. You have seen. So I'll get 75 there. Okay, plus how about D2? D2, it was 300. And finally, D3, it was 15x. So I'll just write 15x. Okay, so now we are going to add. Okay, let's add the 75 plus 300 first before we can group the like terms. Okay, so 75 plus 300, this will give me 375, isn't it? Then plus 15x. So these two are not like terms. So what we are going to do is we are going to group the like terms. So I'll bring, or rather take this 375 on the other side here. Okay, so this is how it will be. We are going to have 825. This is positive. You bring in this side, it will be minus 375 equals to 15 x. You have seen. So now we can subtract here. Okay, 825 minus 375. So if you don't want to make a mistake, you can even do this. 825 minus 375. We are subtracting here. You have seen. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus 7, we are going to get 1 there. So it will be 7. And this will be 12. You have seen. So 12 minus 7, this will give me 5. 7 minus 3, this is going to give me 4. So the answer there is 450 equals to 15x. So since we want to find the value of x, what are we going to do? We divide on both sides by what? 15. There by 15. Okay, and then we are going to remain with what? With x when we divide on both sides by 15. Okay, so this side will remain with x, and we know that if 15 can go into 45 how many times? That will be 3 times, isn't it? Now because of this is 0, it will be 30. Okay, so you can even confirm. So there it will just be 30. So 30 is the value of what? Of x. That's how you get the value of x. But this is not our final answer. Remember, we want to find the value of t. So I have found the value of x, which represents this length here. You have seen. Look at where t is. T has to be greater than 30, isn't it? And I used x to represent the difference from between t and 15. So since I have found the answer, the value of x to be 30, so I now have to add the 30 plus 15 to get the value of t. Okay, you have seen here, because this region here, which is area 3, is not starting from 0. So you can see it has started from 15 there. So from 15 to t. So from 15 to t, the gap there is what? The value of x, which is 30. So now to find the value of t, we have to add 30 plus 15. And the answer will be the value of t. Okay, that's how you do it. So I will write, therefore, the value of t will be t equals to 15 plus 30, which is the value of x, and then the answer is what? 45. So the value of t is 45 seconds. This is our final answer. Okay, so the value of t there is what? 45 here. So that is our answer. Now let's proceed. We look at the last question, which is find the average speed for the whole journey. So we know that the total distance is 825 meters, and the total time is 45. The value of t is 45. We can find the average speed. Okay, so allow me to just erase this part here. We have already solved, so let me just create some space for the last question. Okay, so we are now looking at question C. So to find the average speed, we know that average speed is equals to what? Total distance. Okay, the total distance over the total time taken. Is that okay? The total time taken. So this is the formula that we are going to use. So to find the average speed, we have to know the total distance, and the total distance is 825. Is that okay? So it's 825. We write 825 over what was the total time. So the value of t there, it was what? 45. Okay. So now we can find the average speed. So we can even divide into this. I know 5 can go into these numbers. So 5 into 45, it's okay, 9. Then 5 into 8 there, it's 1, remainder 3. 5 into 30, it's 6, remainder 2. 5 into 25, it's 5. So I have 165 over 9. So I can even write here 165 over 9. You have seen? This is how we reduce it, because you don't have a calculator here. Remember, this is paper 1. So I can even divide this 9 into 165. So we are going to, because there we know that 5 can't go into 9 without leaving any remainder, isn't it? And we know that 9 can't go into 165 without leaving any remainder. So I'll write 9 into 16. It goes there how many times? 1. Remainder, so that would be remainder what? So it would be when we subtract 16 minus 9, we get what? That would be is it 7? Yeah, it will be 7. So we write 7 there. Okay, so it will be 75, right? So 9 into 75, it goes there how many times? So it goes there 8 times, because 9 times 8, it will be 72, right? So it will be 8 here. So 72, it means that we are going to have a remainder of what? A remainder of 3, because 9 goes there 8 times 72. So 75 minus 72, it will be the remainder, which is going to be 3. Okay, and 9 into 3, of course, it can't. We put a point, it will be 18 point. Then we add a 0 there, and then we can start dividing again. So 9 into 30. Okay, we had this. Okay, and then the remainder, yeah. So 9 into 30. So 9 into 30, it goes how many times? That will be 3 times, right? Yes, 27. Remainder 3. Okay, so it will just be 18.3, 18.3, 18.3. It will just go on like that. So we can just round off this one here. Okay, so let's just write our final answer. Okay, this one we are done. Okay, yeah. So I'm saying we can now write our final answer. Therefore, the average speed is going to be equals to 18.3 meters per second as our final answer. So this is how you get your final answer. Okay.